Trustee Blackstock.
Here.
Trustee Knox.
Here.
Trustee Richley.
Here.
Clerk Smith here. Supervisor Roush.
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Moving to the approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda as presented? I have one. We're going to reinstate new business one, with a little bit different verbiage, for the board to approve the CWSRF plan for the June 1st deadline, with page 31 revisions as discussed at the public hearing. Are there any other-
Reinstating it, is that right?
What's that?
Reinstating that new business?
Yeah, with just some different verbiage, but yes, same item.
I'll make that motion. Or you made the motion, I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion, we have a support. Is there any other items for the agenda? All right. So all in favor of adapting the new agenda as presented? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, sorry. Approval of the minutes. They're in the packets. If there's no questions on the minutes, motion to accept would be in order.
So moved.
I support.
We have a motion, we have a support to accept the minutes. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries. We have no guest speakers, so it'd be the time for public comment. We have a couple folks in the crowd. Does anybody have? Okay. All right, moving into the approval of the consent agenda, also in your packets.
I have a question. I don't want to move it, but I have a question. As soon as I find it. Let's see what I do with it this week. Here it is. And if you can't have an answer immediately, Cindy, I'll just, perhaps we could make a note of it and give me the answer next week. But going through the financial report, I noticed there was a $100,000 transfer out of the sewer fund by budget amendment. And knowing the condition of the sewer fund, I was wondering why. Well, I can do that too, but it takes me a minute. Please put these things together the other way so we can find stuff out. It's the sewer fund, it's near the back of the pack, and I'll find it in a minute. There's the water fund, all the pages are turned in reverse. Sorry, I should have marked it. It was being too big junk being done. Page 2833. About the middle of the page, Department 590, operating transfers out. $590,999,999,945, transfers out to Capital Project Fund, $100,000. And I was just wondering, since the sewer fund was in such bad straits, why we were taking $100K out of the sewer fund. And you may not know that, but I'd like an answer to it eventually. That's all I have, Mr. Supervisor.
We will look into that.
Probably a good reason for it, I don't know what it is.
Okay. If there's no further questions on the consent agenda, a motion to approve would be in order.
So moved. Support.
All right, we have have a motion, we have support to accept the consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries. Disbursements, we have payroll in the amount of $36,820.84. Accounts payable of $32,740.13. EFTs for $59,376.90. E-checks of $302.30. For a total of $129,240.17, with a void of $659.86, for a new total of $128,580.31. And then some invoices of $65,553.28, for total disbursements of $194,133.59.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills as presented.
I support.
We have a motion, we have a support to pay the bills. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Babel?
Yes.
Trustee Blackstock?
Yes.
Trustee Natz?
Yes.
Trustee Richley?
Yes.
Treasurer Hart?
Yes.
Clerk Smith, yes. Supervisor Roush?
Yes. All right, motion carries to pay the bills. All right, moving right into new business. So new business one is going to be the approval of, from the board to proceed with a CWSRF plan for the June 1st deadline, as proposed with the revision of page 31, as discussed at the public hearing.
Well, since I've done most of the complaining about this, I'll make that motion. Motion to approve.
I support.
All right, we have a motion, we have a support to proceed with the CWSRF plan. Do we need a roll call on that? It's really not paying any bills. So.
I would, just because.
All right, we'll do a roll call for this new business one.
Okay, Trustee Babel?
Yes.
Trustee Blackstock?
Yes.
Trustee Natz?
Yes.
Trustee Richley?
Yes.
Treasurer Hart?
Yes.
Clerk Smith, yes. Supervisor Roush?
Yes. All right, motion carries. New business number 2, the Bell River Lift Station Pump Rebuild. Elaine's gonna speak on that.
I've got a quote for you from Electric Motor Services to rebuild one of the old pumps at Bell River Lift Station. Last fall, there was a...
Elaine?
Yes.
I don't mean to be ornery, but could you pull your max down while you're talking? Thank you. I don't hear so well.
Last fall, there was a problem with components at the pump station, and at that time, I was going to get prices on rebuilding a pump. And at a board meeting that I wasn't at, there was a motion to move forward with the rebuild on the pump. And at that time, I wasn't aware of it, but this was still something that we were working on. And this is the price to rebuild and rewind one of the pumps. I know the township has applied for a grant to make improvements to this lift station. And if they do not get it, I recommend that the board move forward with finding another source of funding to rebuild or rehab the entire lift station. But this would buy some reliable time from the current pumps there. At this time, the pumps are still operating normally, just at a low capacity.
So this is a total rebuild, it's not...
It's a total
replacement.
rebuild. Rewind the pumps, the motors are tired.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there is no other lift station with this style pump in it, so once these pumps are replaced and upgraded, I have no other use for this. So I hate to say we should spend the money on it, but I also can't say that I'm confident with these pumps holding up until this late summer or fall, till we hear back on the grant and moving forward from there.
Okay. So if they were to break, I mean, what would be the downtime?
If I was to lose both of those pumps, then I would have to call in a pump to bypass it. We did put the new pipe under the river, so we have a reliable way to bypass that lift station. And it would be about 5,500 approximately for a month of a pump rental to bypass that.
And we're still paying at that point the 7,400 to have it rebuilt.
Yes.
I don't understand this one, Blaine. Are you saying that you need to get this done now, but waiting until it becomes part of this project in 2022 is
No,
chances are too great that you're gonna lose the pump?
I'm saying I can't say that that both of these pumps will hold up or they will fail. I'm saying this is the cost to rebuild one of these pumps,
Just wanna-
for rebuild one pump to keep it reliable for the time being.
Yeah, if you rebuild it, does that, can it be used in the new, when they go back to that station to
No.
Do it?
These model pumps are obsolete and would not be put back
okay,
in
it would
there.
be a loss if at that
Yes.
time. So this is just insurance.
Yes.
Thank you. I think $7,000. Personally, I think $7,000 worth of insurance is probably pretty good. Sewer pump failures. I don't think I ever want to get into that particular point.
No, given the fact that it would be 5,500 plus 7,400 to fix it anyways, so.
We had already approved this.
Right.
The last board did,
Right, so we're a little bit over the not to exceed amount. so-
$400. I mean, are we still in the running for this grant?
Yes.
I mean, the grant can be allocated to something else, correct? Or just be brought into the general
Reimbursed.
fund as reimbursement for this repair?
It wouldn't cover this. It would cover the complete upgrade of the station. This is what the grant would be.
That's what that grant is, okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we already approved it, so I don't have a problem making a motion that we,
Wait a minute. We have a grant coming in that would completely rebuild that station?
That is the intent, yes.
Yeah.
that was the
That's
last
in it.
presentation.
That means that station would not be included in the thing we just got through arguing about.
No, the Bell
It's
River.
entirely different
The
grant.
Bell River lift station is what was one of the components in what was just presented to us.
But it's going to upgraded pumps, whole different system versus rebuilding the old tired pumps.
To get us by until,
Is this two different grants? The one grant we're going in for now is the one Anthony just got through talking to us about.
That's the loan, yes,
That's the loan, and it covers a bunch of pump stations.
correct.
Does it cover this one?
No, it does not.
No.
not cover Bell
So
River?
this FEMA is another grant we've got coming in to cover this particular station.
That is,
And it's not due till this summer sometime.
we will not hear any notice of award until late summer, early fall, if we even.
Okay, well, that's a lot different. Yeah, late summer, early fall, that's only 4 or 5 months. Blaine? That's only 4 or 5 months. You still think we need this $7,000 for that?
I can't say.
Blaine, does it make sense to rebuild one pump now, use the grant to rebuild the second pump?
The pumps wouldn't be rebuilt at all. They are obsolete. If we get this grant or the town decides to move forward with the rehabilitation, it would be an entirely new system. It would, at that point. it would-
Right, in 2022 though. But so for the time being, if we were to spend, we have 2 pumps in there,
Yes.
correct? So we spend 7,400 now to rebuild one. Could we use the grant money later this year to rebuild the second one?
There's no rebuilding them.
I don't believe the grant would cover rebuilding them. That was for specified rehab.
Placement.
Okay.
Technology.
Requirements, because it would be considered under FEMA
Okay,
grant.
that's good.
Hazard mitigation.
What's your alternative if you lose a pump? You got somebody comes in with an
I
extra pump?
bypass it.
How much? A month?
Approximately 5,500 for a month until I have a rebuilt pump to put back in there as a replacement.
And you're spending another
Convinced me, $7,000.
7,400.
So if we lose the pump, you're spending $7,400 on top
Anyway.
of
Yes.
By
2 months to pump it.
right?
$7,400 sounds like a good idea.
Plus what might happen in
Yeah.
between for people's homes.
Yeah.
And we already have a budget of 7,000 to do this work regardless, so we're looking for an additional 400.
Okay. I was involved in the last motion, so I'll make the motion that we approve The electric motor services to rebuild the pump at Bell River Lift Station, not to exceed $7,400.
I support.
All right, we have a motion, we have a support to rebuild the pump at the Bell River Lift Station for not to exceed 7,400. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Babel?
Yes.
Trustee Blackstock?
Yes.
Trustee Natz?
Yes.
Trustee Richley?
Yes.
Treasurer Hart?
Yes.
Clerk Smith, yes. Supervisor Roush?
Yes. All right, motion carries. New business 3, the annual sanitary sewer spot rehabilitation.
I have quotes from Pipeline Management Company for pressure chemical grouting on the sanitary sewer main on Point Drive and a manhole to the north of Rico Road at the DTE property. Following the flooding last winter, we had the camera guys come back in to try to find the sources of all the infiltration as the flooding was happening. A lot of times when we've been able to get cameras actually to these manholes, the water's down, so you don't see the true picture. And at this time, the spots we looked at, we found some significant separation in joints where the joints are leaking and letting in the flood and groundwater. And in these areas, the pipe is still good, it's just the joints, and grouting them is a good cost-effective way to solve this problem. And by doing the grouting, you're immediately stopping that water from getting in the system and being treated. So it is a good investment.
Okay. And again, so these are some of the components, though, that are going to be,
This area in particular is not part of the loan. This is on the actual street part of Point Drive, the west side of the road,
Okay.
where the main is just off the side of the road.
Okay, that's going to be my question.
yeah, and I did get to witness that. I just stopped in and checked out that camera system, and there was some, those pipes are in pretty bad shape, so.
This is the same group that's done all of our,
For the last 2 years, and they've done a good job for us.
Okay. So the action, so that we're looking at a cost of $30,587 for the total of the repairs for this year.
At 4 locations?
This is a continuation of a program we've had for several years, I understand.
Yes, each year the size of it's varied a little bit, but we're trying to do a little bit each year, and it's helping the system as a whole.
we have this amount budgeted for this year, I'm assuming?
It would come out of the sewer repair and maintenance service.
Did you say we've done this program for the last 2 to 3 years?
Last 2 years, this company has been involved, and
2 years.
the work has been on Point Drive. We began at Point Drive Lift Station, working north. The first year they did the first segment from the lift station, and it made a drastic difference in the total flow getting into the system.
I'm seeing the add up of all 4 is closer to 35,000.
The contractor did say that if more than one project was approved, that they would remove the mobilization, demobilization off all but one of them.
Okay.
So there would only be one mobilization charge.
Okay, that's what,
That's where that's coming from. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
that's what I thought it was, okay.
All right. I don't see any problems with this.
Motion?
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the annual sanitary sewer rehab projects for the estimated cost of $30,587, performed by Pipeline Management Company, with sewer rehab projects at the 4 locations as indicated.
I'll support.
All right, we have a motion, we have a support to approve the sanitary rehab project for 2021. The amount of $30,587. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Babel?
Yes.
Trustee Blackstock?
Yes.
Trustee Natz?
Yes.
Trustee Richley?
Yes.
Treasurer Hart?
Yes.
Clerk Smith, yes. Supervisor Roush?
Yes. All right, motion carries. New business 4, trade-in and purchase of a new Bobcat.
Got them all lined up, huh?
I have a quote from Bobcat of Motor City for a new E35 mini excavator, and they have a trade-in allowance of $30,000 for our current 2015 E35. Currently, there are no problems with the mini we have, but I've been looking at this to try to capitalize on what we've been able to use it for and still get a reasonable trade-in value, instead of holding on to something until it's, extremely depreciated and has lost its value.
So all your implements, everything, there's no changes.
Nope, everything is how they hook up is still the same. And actually, right now, this machine is a little bit cheaper than what we originally paid for our first one in 2015. So something actually went down in price.
That's a shocker.
This thing do anything new that your old one couldn't do?
No, not that I'm aware of. It's identically, as far as specifications, it's the same, just a little bit lighter, a little more compact, but it's got the same lifting, reach, that's all the same.
Just out of curiosity, does this group honor, is this price based on whatever, the state of Michigan?
It is
So
through
it's a
my deal
consistent
price, yes.
Okay.
Well, I think that you and Esport if you didn't think it was a good idea, so I'm gonna side with you on here.
You got money in your budget for this?
I do have money in my equipment replacement fund for this year.
Okay, that's just my question. He gets to
Yeah.
manage that.
It's a hell of a trading value, that's for sure, so. All right, anybody wanna make a motion to approve this?
I'll make a motion that we allow for the trade-in and purchase of the new Bobcat E35 compact excavator, including our trade-in allowance of $30,000 for, what does it approve the trade-in? Approval for $23,749.30 after trade-in allowance.
I'll support.
All right, we have a motion, we have a support to replace the 2015 Bobcat E35 for a cost of $23,749.30. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Trustee Babel?
Yes.
Trustee Blackstock?
Yes.
Trustee Natz?
Yes.
Trustee Ridgely?
Yes.
Treasurer Hart?
Yes.
Clerk Smith, yes. Supervisor Roush?
Yes. All right, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
New business 5, painting of the rooftop cupola at Township Hall. Do you wanna talk on that one?
I don't have any information. I just noticed a few things that need to be maintained. And our cupola is faded and peeling up on top of our township hall, and I would like the board's permission that if we can go out and seek quotes to have it painted.
Is there anything else that needs painting on this facility?
Not that I
On the exterior?
noticed.
I think it's all brick and,
Mostly brick. I think we'd probably look at the fascia boards. I'm not sure if they're tin or if they're wood.
Some of the other piping that just goes straight up does have some wear on it, so I don't know if that should be part of it, that it would all be matching the same. That would be something to
Yeah.
consider.
I just noticed that.
you just
Let's
look
say go get some quotes.
Yeah, it won't hurt to get some quotes maybe.
Okay.
And we
Take
can-
the contractor.
then we can
and
argue
build it.
about it.
Yeah. All right, so I guess it's just a discussion point.
Okay.
So we will get, do we need to make a motion and approval of
To seek quotes.
solicit bids?
Well, it'd be just probably quotes.
Okay. All right, so we'll just move on to new business 6. So it's similar, seeking landscape quotes to rebuild the bedding border along the driveway entrance.
Right, that's another area that I've noticed that needs attention. The original landscape, the stones are falling over and it's looking a little like it needs some attention. So I would Not sure if that's something DPW would do, or we'd seek quotes for that as well from a landscape contractor.
I would recommend getting quotes on doing something different. I've been here 10 years now, and out of 10 years, 9 seasons, 9 springs, the walls had to be restacked up. So
Okay.
Putting the stone foundation underneath it is always shifting.
Okay.
All right, so
So
maybe
we'll
we
do
look
that.
at, some quotes, some ideas, and then we can bring it back to the board for.
To get quotes, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Moving into new business 7, purchase of the property over on, Bell River Road. I forget the address here.
There is communication from the township attorney after review that I put in front of everyone's station. If we are to move forward with an offer to purchase, the township needs to be clear that the township's obligation to purchase the property is conditioned on the township having a 90-day due diligence period to include, among other things, that the township will want to review confirmation that the township is not restricted from using the property in the way it wants to use the property, and that we would have time to try to attain approval from the condo association before the agreement to purchase is fulfilled. Of course, this is the property in question, is the parcel adjacent to the kayak launch on Bell River Road. That's-
If I understand it, you want to put up a pavilion or something on that.
That's not,
We don't know whether we
We-
want to or not. But
exactly.
you can't now unless you get permission.
The original thought at just starting point was with the limited parking that's there are 3 regular spots and 2 handicap spots. People during the summer park along the roadway, they're unloading their kayaks, they're walking down the road, people are going 50 miles an hour or more down Bell River Road. It's a dangerous situation. The property went up for sale, so I thought, you know what, the township maybe should consider trying to obtain part of it or use part of it as a parking area. We could, as part of developing that property, be sure to put up a boundary where it would, deflect the light and whatever, privacy for the adjoining neighbor. The best way possible. It's all,
If you decide what you want to do in advance, then you can do that. But if you want to fix it so that you can do other things on the property you own, you need to get that clarified. Because someone in the future may want to put up a picnic shelter or something like that. That we should be allowed to do, if we're going to buy it, we should be able to do whatever we want to on the property.
Which is what the stipulation that the lawyers put in place, or not put in place, but recommended that we put into the.
Put that in
The
the
offer, that
purchase, in the
there's-
offer. Yeah, the lawyers can figure that one out real good.
So that we would have a clause.
I would think we could get that, that there's talk about the value of the property, it can't be built on, it's not big enough. So we shouldn't be getting nailed for a big price. It's not a buildable property.
Yeah, I did
We
notice.
can check that out if you want to, but I'm almost certain because of its size and the requirements of that area for setbacks, you can't build a house on it. That's what I mean.
Yeah, in this restrictions, there's quite a few of them, and I noticed, it specifically says, there will be no residential dwelling, driveway, parking area, or any other structure or device to be erected, altered, or placed without written approval of the developer. So I think that's your first step before we even consider purchasing or,
well, it would be part of the offer.
yeah.
Is this a split?
And
then with
also
the neighbor?
price-wise, too.
Pardon me?
Is this a split from the neighbor? Does the neighbor own it and they're
No.
splitting it?
No.
Mrs. Gilman owns
It's
it.
already split.
And Jim lives next to it.
Yeah. We have the property owner and the neighbor in the
Just-
audience here.
Right.
Own just that little
Good
piece,
questions.
as far as what is connected together?
It's part of a subdivision. It has gone through all the subdivision rules. It is sufficient size to build a sufficient home there. It's a residential lot with restrictions.
I don't think you can make the township restrictions on setbacks. I would not think you could meet the townships
We
on
went
setbacks,
through
on the zoning
the city,
setbacks.
The township, the state, the school district. We went through every municipal that we had to go through to do this subdivision. And we went through a lawyer to have the restrictions put in the county records.
I won't say anything else. Really weird shaped piece of property. Sitting on the ZBA, we'd have a problem with that.
Right. No, it is, it's an odd-shaped piece, and it really fits the township's, and I wouldn't say need, but I think a good opportunity to expand something that we have there. I spoke with the past supervisor. There was a piece of property that came up for sale on the corner right across the street. They talked about.
A couple years ago.
A couple years ago,
Huge.
but the fact of people, kids, kayaks crossing a 45-mile-an-hour zone right there.
Yeah, we decided not to do
Right,
that, yeah.
so, it makes sense from the township, it's an opportunity to expand something that seems to be a hot area.
And well-used.
Right. I would like to ask, Mary, if you don't mind me asking, there's always been some kind of conversation that you would never sell to the township. And I just wanted to kind of throw it out there, and I tried actually calling you today, on the
Well,
phone.
that's what we have her, because none of that's gonna get on the recording if she's answering to you.
Oh, all right,
Unless I see a written proposal, I can't give you an answer.
okay. All right, we'll just leave it at that. So, I guess
What is the asking price for it right now? What's it listed for?
it was, I
It
think,
was-
67,000.
Right. I believe it was 67,000. It's in our minutes. Our minutes. No, it's not in the minutes. I believe it's 67,000.
Unless we can get something in writing that says if we buy it, we can do it with it for recreational purposes, anything that we wish.
Right.
I would be reluctant to getting a hold of it. And once you get that, then the other questions become more relevant.
Well, and I would suggest that we let our township attorney handle the purchase agreement writing and what our needs, expressing our needs before it's part of the process, or to begin the process.
All right, so I guess the action item would be to approve going forward with the lawyers to make an offer.
Well, if you want, you're gonna have to come up with an agreement
Yeah.
before you make an offer on it. As what will be permissible if the restrictions to the property will now allow us to use it in a recreational manner like we would want to on any of our recreational properties, and I don't think we should be interested. But if we can get a waiver of those restrictions, then it's a whole nother ballgame.
Right.
Well, here's the language.
Be clear that township conditions. Right. Yeah, so Janelle, her verbiage here, which I think is what we're looking for, is, the purchase would be conditioned on a 90-day due diligence period to research all these items. So,
So we would have to vote on even spending money for a lawyer to even pursue this, is, I guess, our first step.
right.
And are we even happy with 67,000, you know, I mean, where does it start, you know? If we're not, why would we spend the extra money for the lawyer if we're not even, you know, considering around that amount? If,
What are you looking for? You're looking for, you're gonna make a purchase agreement with a contingent on it?
Yes,
Yes.
And then we'll let the lawyer work out the contingent, and if it doesn't work out in 90 days, it's not a purchase.
right,
Is that what you're saying?
correct.
but we'd also have to agree on a price that we,
That's what I'll say now.
Yeah,
The next
we
question is,
should be
how bad
willing
we-
to-
How bad do you want it?
We should,
exactly.
at least in the past, allow the supervisor to negotiate the purchase price of the property, and it could come back to the board upon final approval, or,
Well, yeah, well, conditional offers, I wouldn't have any trouble the supervisor coming up with a negotiation with a conditional offer that the board, that they got the 90 days, and then we're gonna have to approve it.
right.
I just think it's it'd be kind of silly not to at least look at it and see if we could make it work. You know, I think it would not be due diligence on our part, looking at standpoint from the community, you know, with all of our residents, there's no property around there that butts up to it that we could look at in the future, so it's kind of it's an opportunity now, so.
May I ask, who owns it?
Mrs. Gilman in the
Oh.
audience.
A private individual owns it, not a, what do they call it, a condominium association, but a private individual owns that piece of property. Okay, thank you.
So I guess if there's no further discussion, a motion to proceed with a purchase agreement or proposal would be in order.
Okay, I'll make I'll make a motion that the township move forward to have our attorney draft a purchase agreement and be clear about the township's obligation to purchase the property as conditioned upon the township having a 90-day due diligence period to review and confirm that the township is not restricted from using the property in the way it wants to use it. And by including a provision in the offer to purchase, that the township will have time to try to obtain approval from the landowners described in the deed restrictions that will have a basis to withdraw from the agreement to purchase if it is determined that it cannot use the property as it wishes.
And just to be clear, you're saying the supervisor is determining the purchase price? Because that would have to be in the offer.
To allow the supervisor to negotiate the purchase price.
Which, that'll come before the board again?
To
at
approve
some
or not
point?
Still have to
Okay,
approve it, yeah.
okay. So, Mrs. Gilman, I heard her say that there's no condo association. Is that true?
It's not no, there's no condo association.
Okay. Because that's something,
What would it be? It's a subdivision.
right. There's something in the deed that states that, and so I was just
Right,
curious.
lots 1 through 6 and lots A through D. There's something about a consent.
But my question is, what would we have to go through, like, if it doesn't exist? Like, what's the process at that point, like?
Well, it's part of her deed restrictions
Oh,
that's in there,
She has all these
that
restrictions
the
on those
assessor
properties.
has pointed out in the attorney.
these are
That's why
filed.
she's
These are
asking for the
deed
90 days to
right,
work through all these details.
okay. I do think it's a good idea if we're able to do it. I do think it's a good idea.
We definitely have an opportunity to make sure that's what we want to do and
Is there,
have the opportunity to withdraw, so.
any park funds available? Park grants, park funds for things like this? State's always
Oh, yeah.
often, particularly on a small item like this, they pick that out of their small change.
Right, yeah, if we were to
If
procure
we
the
decide what to
property.
do, they may support the purchase.
Well, by the time someone writes a grant and gets approved, there's deadlines, and I don't see that timeline
Sounds like
fitting in.
something for the park commissioner to do, right?
Yeah, I think we would have to own the property before they would look for grants to, I think we look for the grants to, do the build out or whatever we want to do.
People are using grant money to buy a bunch of stuff down there in Clay along the river.
May I read one section of the restriction? Number 11. If the owner or occupant of any premises in the subdivision shall violate or attempt to violate any of these covenants, it shall be lawful for any other person or persons owning any interest in the property described herein to prosecute any proceedings at law or in equity against such person to prevent such violations or to recover damages for other relief.
I think you just talked us out of it. If we have to negotiate with every resident in the subdivision.
There'd be 23 other lots you'd have to deal with.
Well, that's where the,
Why don't you let the lawyer look at that one, huh?
that's where the lawyer comes into play on that, yeah. Well, we have a motion. Do we have a support? If not, this is a dead issue. Right. Well, hearing no support, we're gonna just close the topic. All right, so moving into announcements. Any announcements from anybody today? We have the FYI in your packet, just the Council on Aging saying thank you for the annual donation. So it's nice to see. No further announcements. We want to member comments. Trustee Babel.
Nothing tonight.
Trustee Blackstock.
Nope.
Trustee Richley.
Got nothing.
Trustee Knotts.
Nothing further.
Treasurer Hart.
No, all set?
Clerk Smith.
Oh, thank you.
And I really have nothing myself either tonight, so. That being said, make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:37.
I support.
The motion would have a support to close the meeting. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Meeting is closed. Thank you very much.